Hello, everyone, and welcome to Black Girls Getting Their Shift Together. Today is going to be a real fun, lighthearted topic. I know we've been talking about conflict, high conflict exes, and narcissism, and all that good stuff. But today we're going to keep it nice, light, and airy. But before we do that, I'm going to play this intro.
This for the queens, sisters manifesting their dreams. Get your cream by any means and beam with self-esteem. Beauty supreme and Buddha walk so mean. The way you fit in them jeans, you eat your cornbread and greens. Dance or a doctor, red wine or vodka. Redesign your spot and redefine your mantra. Retwist your locks and realign your chakras. Doing your squats and getting closer to God, huh? Brunching with your squad or taking a girl's trip. Adjust your crown, you God's gift to the world, sis. Celestial body, drink your water. Meditate, sun kiss goddess, heavenly order. Levitate, tribe of Ashanti, black girl magic, melanin popping, whether you ratchet or lavish, whether you bougie or savage, you a gift and a treasure. You got to love a black girl getting a shift together. Black girls are getting a shift together. These black girls getting a shift together, man. These black girls are getting a shift together. These black girls getting a shift together, dog.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Black Girls Getting Their Shift Together. Today is going to be very fun. However, let's take care of some housekeeping. First, please make sure like, comment, share this video, this stream. And if it's a replay, make sure and type replay in the comment section. Say hi. Let me know where you're tuning in from. And more importantly, make sure and join the private Facebook group. I have put the link in the show description box so that we can continue the conversation after the podcast. So right now I'm going to bring my beautiful guest. I think some of you all seen her before. You ready, Ashley? Look at her flicking her hair. She's here.
Hi.
How you doing, Ashley?
I'm good. I'm great.
Looking beautiful.
Thank you, you too, honey.
Okay, let me get this going on. So how's your day so far?
My day's really good. I'm having a pretty good day.
All energized with your closet?
I know. Before we got on, I was just briefly telling you that my closet has been like a train wreck for all year. So I'm trying to get it together now, like, because it's my space. It's like my only space in my house that like belongs to me. You know,
Really?
nobody else can come in here. I mean, my kids be trying to bust in, but like this is it's like my lady cave. So I'm trying to get it together.
So you seem like the only person allowed is the dog.
Yes. Well, and I don't even call him a dog. He's my Bruno. He's my baby. He's my fur baby.
Oh.
So yeah, like we don't like whenever somebody calls him a dog, my kid a dog. This is your mother.
Too funny. So I bet he follows you around the house all the time.
He is, not to toot my own horn, but I'm definitely his favorite.
That was my next question. Who is he drawn to the most? Let me turn this up a little bit. So yeah, let's briefly talk about the show, and then we can get into the meat of everything else. Okay. But can you tell everybody, if they haven't seen you, what show you were on and what network?
Yeah, so I'm Ashley Silva. I am on Love and Marriage DC on OWN Network. We were on Saturday nights at 9 p.m. We wrapped our first season in June, and then we had a 2-part reunion. And now we are looking forward to see coming next.
Say that one more time. Your network.
I said now. So our I'll just repeat everything. So I'm Ashley Silva. Okay. I'm from Love and Marriage DC on OWN Network. We premiered in May. We premiered in May, and we went into the end of June, and then we had a 2-part reunion, and now we are, fingers crossed, but a wink wink, that we will be back soon.
I was going to ask you that if there's going to be a season 2.
Yeah.
There needs to be a season 2.
There needs to be a season 2. You know, I can't confirm right now if we're getting a season 2, but I also won't deny that we're getting a season 2.
So I'm going to ask you again when we get offline, right? Like, girl, what is the real answer? But we'll wait patiently. But there definitely needs to be a season 2.
Yeah, so I hope you don't have to wait too long.
I hope not, because I work on some Saturday nights. I like to watch it live with everybody else.
Yeah, yeah.
So how did you get on the show?
Oh God, I have a long history of reality shows contacting me and me going through like the interview process or the audition process or however you feel about it. But those shows didn't work out, and about I think it was summer 2021. We were contacted by Kingdom Reign. We were suggested to them by Monique Samuels, who used to be on Housewives of Potomac, who is also a cast member on our show. And they told her, like, tell us about some couples that that are like doing that thing in the DMV area. We were one of the couples that, that she pitched. They loved us. I think we did about 2 rounds of interviews. And then my birthday's coming up. My birthday's October 23rd. Last year
Oh,
on
wow.
October 5th, they called me and was like, hey, we want to offer you a contract. We want you to be on the show. So it's been like a little over a year journey. But that's how it happened. And then, they contacted in October saying it's a go, and we started filming in January.
Oh, damn. So
It
what made
was
you
pretty
want to
fast.
go on the huh?
I said, so it was a pretty fast process.
It seems like it. But what made you want to be on the show? What was your motivating
When I was
factor?
younger and reality TV first started getting popular, I was always like, I could do that. Like, you just got to be yourself. And I was like, I know I have a big personality. I have a personality that a lot of people enjoy, and then I know I also have a personality that a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, you too much. So I felt like that makes for perfect television, and
Uh-huh.
our family dynamic with my husband and I, in our area, a lot of people know us, know of us, but they don't really know like what goes into, being married and all of those things, especially as someone being married to someone who is in the entertainment business, who has always been in the entertainment business. And now I'm breaking into business myself. I just thought it was like a great opportunity. And since we've joined, I've met so many people, and I've got such great feedback. I've got bad feedback too, but I've got such great feedback.
Really? What bad feedback could they say? Come on.
I mean, in general, everybody's not going to like you. That's fine. But a lot of people, people shy away from honesty a lot. I think people preach, I want honest. I want people to be truthful with me. I want directness, but you really don't. And I think I give you directness and I give you boldness. And it's kind of a shocker because people are very used to people being phony, and I'm not that.
No, you're not. I could tell. I could tell. But I also think too, when people can be people pleasers, so you don't want to hear the truth. I mean, I've been on both sides
Yeah,
of
and that's
it.
the thing. I get it. I mean, it's like, some people say, oh, it's the way you say things, but everybody's different. And I'm not, much of a sugarcoater. So I don't want people to sugarcoat for me. So I also don't do that for other people.
Right. Okay. I can respect that. So what's the biggest thing that changed your life after being on Love and Marriage DC?
Just the great opportunities that I've gotten. It's so like I meet people every day. Today I was in Target. I was meeting people like they're like, "Are you Ashley?" And like so some that's still like a little. It's fresh. It's new because sometimes I'll be looking a mess. I'll be out like, and I'm like, "Oh yeah."
Wait, do you go out in the bonnet? Please say no. Do you go out in your bonnet?
Not to like stores and stuff. But
Oh, I was going to talk about you.
No. But my Bruno, see, he wakes up about, I mean, like I'm telling you, he's a baby. So he wakes up about 5:30, 6 a.m. sometime, and I'll have my bonnet on. I'm like, so I do walk around my neighborhood with it on. Because I'm like, Bruno, I'm going right back to bed when this walk is on.
Right. Okay. As long as it's not in the stores.
No. Not in the stores. Not in the stores.
Oh my God. So how has it been in the limelight? I know you said it's fresh, but is this kind of wearing off a little, or
No,
is it something new all the time?
I feel like it's actually like kind of picked up. Is it wearing off, like getting used to it? No, I don't think you ever get used to it. Like for me, especially because sometimes I'll see like people looking at me and I just want to be like, hey, but then I'm like, well, maybe they don't know who I am. So I don't want to say anything. So like, I'm like, okay, maybe I'll just let them stab me or whatever.
Oh my God. Okay, so I heard that you all used to have a strip club.
Still do. Yep.
Do
We still do.
you? I didn't
Yeah.
know y'all
So
still had it.
we've been
So,
open since 2017, and when we first opened, we were like just like a normal dance nightclub. And then COVID hit. And then once we came back from COVID, it was like, okay, let's flip formats because we do have our adult entertainment license. So we do have it's a full-fledged strip club. It's called
nice.
the new downtown Baltimore.
What's the name of it again?
It's called the new club downtown.
The
So it's in
nude
Baltimore.
club.
Yeah. So it's called it's in Baltimore. It's on Baltimore Street, 416 East Baltimore Street.
Are you hiring? I'm right here.
Oh, would you like oh,
Wait, what?
do you have some moves?
Girl, I look back at it. I do all of
Oh,
that.
okay.
But no, not really.
Me either, girl. I could never. I could never.
With the right motivation, I can, but yeah,
I
no.
can't even like properly like twerk, and I'm like disappointed in myself.
Understandable. So let's get into some of the meat of what's going on. So let me tell you my motivation for having you on my
Okay.
platform. So I do watch reality TV. As a matter of fact, let me tell you the real truth. So I haven't watched TV, like literally turned my TV on. I'm gonna tell you when I turned my TV off, it was the weekend when Kobe passed away.
Oh wow, yeah.
And it was so much, I was so bothered by that. I just turned my TV off. I was like, I don't even want to hear any of the bad news. Well, then one day went into 1 week, and now look how long it's been.
Yeah.
I just haven't turned my TV on, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I have turned it on for football season because I love football. But I don't watch TV through the week. I don't turn on the TV and nothing. However, I watch my reality TV. It's my nice my fix, my dose
Yeah.
of my
Yeah.
guilty pleasure. And so when I was watching your show, of course, the show was enjoyable anyway. But when you started talking about mental health and your depression, I said, okay, I like her. I love it because being black women, black people in general, we do not talk about mental health.
Right.
It's a very taboo subject. And when you were so open and free, it's just how you're free talking about your dog. That's how free you were talking about. That's how
Yeah, because I just look at it as it's another part of my life, you know. The same way I would tell you, like I said, I went to Target today. I would tell you I went to see my therapist today. Or I don't think people should have any shame in it, especially, you know, we'll say, oh, we got to go to the dentist. And it's like, whatever. And, you know, you're taking care
exactly.
of your teeth or whatever, you know, if your arm breaks, you take care of it. You go to the doctor, you know, you have to get an
Mm,
whatever it is, you do that, you take care of it, and it's no shame in it. And I just want to not be a face, but help for us to normalize mental health, how we normalize every other type of health.
I love it. I love it. I'm telling you, when you said that, I said, you know what? I'm gonna reach out to this sister. I am. Yeah, I think I love what you're doing outside of that, but I really admire that part of you unapologetically saying this is what's happened, but it's not
Yeah,
defining who you are.
yeah, it's just another part of me.
Exactly. That's so funny you said that because I have group therapy, and
Mm-hmm.
matter of fact, last night, and we're talking about parts
Mm-hmm.
work.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
So it's some good stuff. You
Yeah.
hear and see yourself differently as well as other people, so you
Mm-hmm.
kind of have a lot more compassion with them, including your own self.
Yep.
So how did you know that you were there? What were your signs, or how did you feel like, hey, I may be depressed?
I think my very first signs of it probably started in high school around like 16 years old. But I
Really?
really didn't know the words for it. I knew like how a lot of my friends would seem like so happy and carefree, and I was just always worried. I was worried about, you know, I wasn't worried about like guys or like schoolwork. I was worried about like, do my friends still like me? Does my mom love me? Why don't I feel happy? Why isn't this pleasing to me? And I was just always questioning everything and everyone around me. Um,
Mm.
and I didn't realized that I was dealing with like anxiety at that time, you know, and all the relationships in my life, I felt like I was failing everybody in my life. And then as I got older, you know, I got pregnant at 21 years old. I had just turned 21. Quick and I were,
21?
yeah, my husband and
That's
I were,
young.
yeah, we had known each other for a while, but we had just seriously been together. I think I moved in with him in August, and in February, I found out I was pregnant.
Right,
So
right.
the timeline sped up. I feel like it made me grow up really, really fast, and you know, almost faster than I wanted to. And again, now I'm looking at my friends in college, and they're partying, and they're getting their degrees, and you know, they're traveling and doing all these things. And I'm like, I'm about to be a mom and a wife. I just was like, oh my god, my life is over, and that's how I felt. And when I had Antonio, I remember one time just looking at him and being like, what am I supposed to do with the baby? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what to do with this little person. And, you know, you go in for like your 6 week checkup. And I remember right before I went, I was telling my mom, I was like, because I started hearing about like postpartum depression.
Right.
I was like, I think I have postpartum. And my
Mm-hmm.
mom was like, no, you know, like all new moms deal with that. Everybody goes through that. And I was like, I was afraid to tell her, but I felt like saying postpartum was and saying I think I'm just full blown depressed because I had already been feeling like this before I even had my son. It's just now like the feelings are intensified, and I felt like now I had an out if I could say, okay, I can blame it on this because with
Oh,
depression,
okay.
yeah, because sometimes with depression you can't pinpoint it. Like some people are triggered by some type of trauma, or some people are triggered by loss or, you know, death. If I lose a job, and it's when they tell you they're depressed, you're like, okay, you're depressed because you lost your job. But being 16
Mhm.
years old and saying I'm depressed is like, what are you depressed about, little girl? Like,
Oh
you
my
know,
God. Yeah.
you don't have anything to be depressed about. So fast forward, like I said, after I had my son, I was like, okay, now I have a thing. I have something I can blame it on. But then even when I went to my mom and I said that, she wasn't like, okay, you have something to blame on. She was like, no, you're not depressed. People just get like this after they have a baby. I was very
Mm.
afraid. So after that, I remember sitting in the office like, you know how you want to say something so badly. And I'm just sitting there like thinking, I'm like, tell your doctor, tell your doctor, tell your doctor. And I didn't say anything. And then the years went on, and you know, I constantly just felt like I had a void in me. I kept feeling I felt like so empty at times. And
Oh,
then I was like, okay, maybe it's because I didn't have this career I wanted, or you know, all these other things I wanted. So by the time my son was able to start at a daycare center, I was like, okay, I have to do stuff for myself. And every time I would try to do something for myself, I just felt like I kept hitting like all these like walls, and I couldn't figure out like how to get through these walls. And I would see other people who weren't married or had multiple children, or you know, and I'm like, how can they do this? How are they able to manage? And one day I remember I started crying, and I didn't stop crying for the entire day. And so happily
mm.
I had a doctor's appointment right like the next day. Showed up to my doctor's appointment. My eyes were bloodshot red, like my face was red, my nose was puffy, everything. And my doctor's like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm just having a bad day. And he's like, you're not just having a bad day. Like, you know, what's going on? And by the end of that appointment, you know, I was diagnosed with severe clinical depression. And it literally felt like such a relief off of me. Like, finally, I can talk about this and say what it is and get the help that I need.
Wow, that's powerful. So when you said you felt the release, the relief of it, was it because you were able to put words to how you were feeling, or that someone made it a safe space for you
I think it
to
was
say,
both. Yeah, I think it was both. I think that finally I could stop just pretending that I was okay, because even towards myself, I was pretending that I was okay, you know,
oh
and
yeah.
I knew I wasn't. And then, like you said, also being able to vocalize it to someone else who's not going to look at you and say, you know, well, what do you have to be depressed about? Or everybody else is feeling like this and things like that. To finally have somebody
Mm.
to listen, to understand, and say, okay, this is what it is. This is how we can work through this.
Mm. So we both are melanated women. So this is what we say in our community. Just pray about it. Have you heard that?
Girl, just pray. Like I said, I think between you have nothing to be depressed about, and oh, just pray. I don't like I feel like those are pretty even, you know.
Yeah.
And I tell people all the time, prayer is great. I pray all the time. I've also had one-sided screaming matches with God because I would say like, I'm praying. I come to you every day. I pray once in the morning, once at night. I was like, maybe that's not enough. So I started scheduling in like an afternoon prayer. Like maybe you're busy during this time. Like, and I'm praying. And it's like, prayer wasn't enough.
Can you say that again?
Yes, prayer was not enough.
Yeah, this sounds so familiar because I grew up the same way. You know, just pray about it. You'll be fine. What do you have to be depressed about? You have a roof over your head. You
Yeah,
have food,
then
clothes.
we feel guilty, and I feel like that is why I felt such the relief, because I did feel guilty. I have a home, I have a car, oh my gosh, and then I would hear, "You're married," and I was like, "What the fuck does that mean? Like, are married women
Yeah.
not allowed to be depressed? Like, what does that mean?" So I would hear that, and a lot of times I did feel like that. Well, like shit, like I said, I would feel like, well, this person does have it worse than me. This person, just is losing their home. This person doesn't have a car. This person doesn't have that. So I should be grateful. And gratitude now does play a huge part in, I think,
Oh,
my healing,
yeah.
because I am so thankful and so grateful for everything that I have, everything that in my life, all the people in my life, beyond just materialistic things. But, it took me a while to really get to a place to feel grateful for my life, because no matter what I had, I just wasn't happy. So it took a while to get
Mm. Yeah. I don't see how you could be if you were depressed.
there. Hmm.
But you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
You
Yeah. And
know.
then that's the thing. I knew I wasn't, like I said, I knew I had materially, I knew I had things that other people may not have had. But I also knew that mentally and inside it, that I also had things that other people weren't dealing with. So
Do you feel that we as a people are so detached from our emotions where
yeah,
we can't? Yeah.
I do. I do. I feel like, over the past, couple of years, mental health has become like a hashtag, and, everybody wants to talk about it boldly, but I feel like there are so many people who talk about it on social media and things like that, and then they may have someone in their lives who are battling it, and they're not necessarily showing them the support that they need. And I think that for
What do you
me,
mean? What do you mean?
yeah, so I feel like, instead of shutting someone down when they're telling you like, oh, I may feel depressed, or, I have anxiety or whatever, like I said, not coming back to them with those triggers, like just pray about it, or what do you have, like just talking to them, sometimes just hearing them out. I am someone who I suggest therapy to everybody, whether you think you're depressed or not, because I don't think that there is anything wrong with talking to an unbiased person about whatever's going on in your life. um I have someone now in my life that I'm very close with, and because I've been there, I could see the traits in her that she necessarily wasn't opening up about, because sometimes depression looks very different for everybody.
It does.
There are happy smiling faces, functioning, going to work, going to school, getting A's, like, and they could still be depressed. And then yes, there is the person who may be crying all the time or always down, or and there's the person that's angry and we're just like, oh, they're always mad, they got an attitude, we don't want to deal with them. Like, so there's so many different faces of what depression looks like. And what I want more for people is to be able to just sometimes pick up on those little things, even when they aren't like so bold in your face. Like, yes, when someone's crying, we're like, oh, what's wrong? But like I said, when someone's high functioning, sometimes we just don't know.
Oh, you said a word right there, high functioning.
Mm.
I know from my experience, because I was diagnosed as depressive and anxiety.
Mm.
And I didn't understand the anxiety part, but once I got deeper into therapy, I was like, oh shit,
Yeah, because I felt
am.
the same way. I was like, I don't feel scared. I don't feel nervous. Like, I'm like, I don't have anxiety. But then, like I said, I was like, oh shit, I do. I worry about everything. And then even if it's not worrying, like if you're a perfectionist, like that's worry, if you constantly have to be moving and doing stuff because you can't sit with your own thoughts. Sometimes a lot of people are like that. My husband is probably the best example of that, someone who has to constantly work and work and work. And to most people, that's not a problem. People who work and want to be successful, that's not, like, we don't look at that as that's a problem. But if you are having issues or trauma or something that you're constantly running away from, and you don't want to deal with it, and how you not deal with it is constantly staying busy, you're harming yourself just as much as somebody who's doing drugs. You know what I mean?
That is so true. Are you sure we didn't go to the same group therapy? Because this is what we talked about last night.
No, you know what? I've never been to group therapy at all. And I was telling you, I have a new therapist now.
Oh,
We
do
literally,
you?
yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you, because I have found it hard. I've had several therapists over probably the past 10 years. But I'm doing one right now where I don't see her. We just talk. So she doesn't physically see me. I don't physically see her. For me, that's a little easier, because I think I have this stigma in my head of people judging me. Like, if they look at me, they're going to be like, because when I was depressed, and my primary doctor sent me to a normal message. Which one is a psychologist?
They sent you to, were you put on meds?
Yes.
A psychologist,
or psychologist.
No, not the psychologist. Is a talk therapy.
Okay, so a psychiatrist.
Psychiatrist is that can administer meds.
Right. So when I went, it was a guy, and he was talking to me. He was like, and I was like super dressed up that day, and he was like, "You don't look like anything's wrong with you."
The psychiatrist said that?
Yep.
Oh, hell no.
Yep.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, and I was like,
oh.
Yeah, he was like, "You don't look like anything's wrong with you." And I was just like, okay. So since then, I've always just, when I started getting psychologists, I would wear like sweatpants, I would wear a pony. Like, I felt like I couldn't present myself as me, because I felt like if I presented myself as me and super put together and all these things, and it was like, they were going to be like, "Ain't nothing wrong with this girl. If she could spend an hour and a half getting herself together every day, like, she's fine."
That's not good. That's not good. He said that.
It's really not. It's really not. But since then, I've been like on and off with therapy. I never really felt like I could find anybody that I liked. So a couple of years ago, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to school and be a psychologist. So I went to school for a while, then COVID hit, so I stopped. But even when I stopped taking classes, I would just read and read and read all of these things. So when I started with this this therapist, I was talking to her, and I just was like talking for like 15 minutes. And she was like, "Well, you seem to know a lot." I was like, "Yeah." I've kind of had to talk, like, doctor myself.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's some shit right there. I'm still tripping.
I know. It's so crazy. And I literally, I can see him right now. Like, it's like I said, this might have been 10, 12 years ago, and it's still such a fresh memory.
So when you were switching therapists, they just weren't good fits, or you just
didn't feel like they were good fits. Was like at the very beginning, like, I didn't know much about what therapy was and things like that. So I would go for 1 or 2 sessions, and I'm like, I'm not fixed. I still feel sad. Why am I like this? I don't want to keep talking about my childhood. I didn't realize that you have to give it time, and you got to break down these walls. And, you do have to, as the patient, you do have to trust them. And, that trust it takes a while to get there.
Right.
At first, I was just like, I would go through them, and like I said, go to a few sessions and be like, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this anymore. You're not fixing me. You're not helping me. You don't understand. And so then I would stop going and wouldn't want to find one for a while. And then, after a year, I was like, okay, let me try somebody else. And I just kept going into that cycle. But I just felt like, while I knew I needed help, I also wasn't mentally mature enough at that time to be like, I do have to stick this out.
What do you mean mentally mature enough?
Because I think when you're young, you feel like you know everything. So I felt like I was depressed. You're going to give me this medicine. You're going to tell me what I need to do to go out and not be sad. And I thought that that's what therapy was going to be. And it just wasn't. And I felt like, while I wanted this therapist or these doctors to, like, just come in and fix me, I was I didn't realize that I had to do work too.
Girl, let me tell this is so true. When I went to my therapist and we did the talk therapy, and then she said, "Okay, well, here's some life work, homework." I was like, "What?"
Right.
Like, wait, I got to take it home. Like, I thought it was gonna be fixed sitting here at the
Right.
table, and she said, "No, ma'am. This is what I want you to do. This." She never forced me, but
Mm.
because I was so low. I was desperate. Like, I'll do anything just to
Mm.
get some, with the depression and anxiety, you just want some relief.
Yeah.
And so when she said, "Well, I'm going to refer you to a psychiatrist to be put on medication," I was like, "Okay, I don't care. I'll do it."
Yeah.
And I did have side effects, which gained so much weight. But
Yeah.
you know what? The relief I had emotionally and mentally, it literally felt like the bricks, like these bricks on this wall,
Yeah.
just started crumbling off. And I'm gonna be real honest. I was so numb from the medication. I was still Ursula, but I was so numb. I actually liked feeling numb just because I didn't have to go
Deal
through
with
all those
right.
emotions. It was
Yeah.
like taking a break, but I slipped up and I told my therapist that, and she's like, "Okay, we're gonna
Right.
down."
Right. This isn't it. Right. And that's the thing. So with that, like with therapy or whatever type of help you're getting, it's not to it's not to just erase everything that's going on in your life. You do
Mhm.
have to do the work. And even with medication, like I said, I was that person who thought, okay, you're gonna give me this medicine, I'm gonna feel better in 2 days. I didn't get numb, but my first medication, I can't remember what it was called. The first time I was put on medication, I remember telling her, I was like, well, I'm not crying anymore. And she was like, well, that's good. I was like, no, literally. And I wear contacts. I was like, literally, my eyes are not producing water. Like,
You
it's
had
not
that too?
I was like, not because I don't want to cry. I was like, I literally cannot cry.
Yeah, I experienced that too. And I remember I don't remember what it was, but I felt the emotions of crying. And I remember I
Yeah.
was in my bathroom and I was doing this. Don't laugh. I was like,
Trying to make yourself
I
cry.
was forcing myself to cry, but literally the water would not come out. So I
Yeah.
looked it up and I think it's called emotional blunting,
Yeah. I'm not sure what it's
something
called, but
like that. But
whatever it
she
was.
said, "Oh, that's normal."
Yeah. So, and that was one of the things I just was like, maybe this medicine wasn't right for me. And like you said, maybe your dosage wasn't right, or it could have been the medication altogether, because there are different type of medications for different type of things or whatever you're dealing with. And I tell people that all the time. I don't like to get into like what medicine works for me, because that might not work for you. There's
Absolutely.
a huge range of medication.
Mm. So it sounds like yours was right on point then with the meds, or did they
Uh
have to tweak it?
no, I changed it. So when I was unable to cry, I got off of medicine for years. And I had the reverse of what you're saying. I was When I got anxious and super depressed, I was gaining weight. I wasn't eating at all and I was gaining weight. And I remember like I started going to the gym. I had like 3 or 4 trainers. And I remember telling my husband, I was like, something like is blocking me from like losing weight. I gained
Mm.
30 pounds in 4 weeks. I,
Damn.
I gained a lot
That
of
was
weight
fast.
in a very
Yeah.
short amount of time. And then I could not get it off. And I changed my eating habits. I was working out, like I said, and nothing helped. And it probably wasn't about until like 2 years later, I got back on my antidepressants. And it was a different brand. And I was doing the same workouts, eating the same way, and the weight like started dropping.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, you have a beautiful shape. So
Thank you.
send me the name of that. Inbox me the name of because I need to get this off so I can work in your strip club later on. But I need to lose this weight by October 1st.
Oh my gosh. It ain't worked that fast. I don't know.
I love the fact that you talk about going to therapy. What was something that you would tell people who are apprehensive about going to therapy?
um to just give it a try, but to stick it out.
Mm,
There's so many, and now what I do love, and I feel like I'm not happy we went through COVID, but things have become even more convenient for us. Like I
ooh,
said, there's you don't even have to leave your home anymore. You know what I mean? You can talk to somebody right on the computer, like I'm talking to you, or it's not like this. Before, when I was younger and I thought about therapy, I thought about it was going to be $100 an hour and all like so expensive and, all these things. And now, even if you don't have health insurance, there are websites like Better Health right now where you can sign up for like however much it is a month. And, you can have your therapy sessions and things like that.
I
So
love it.
I just think it's the convenience of it now. It's like no reason you shouldn't be able to have a therapist. There are some where you just text, you on your
Yeah.
phone anyway. So, if you're having a bad day, or, you need to even if you just need to get your feelings out, you can talk to somebody. And the thing about therapy and where I am now, and I know we're not to my book yet, but the thing I do talk about in my book is I'm a journaler. I've always been a journaler. I've always been
Mm.
down. I write everything down. I write to-do lists. My sister is always like, "Once you put in your phone," no, I don't want to. I need to literally like get paper, and I will always have like tons and tons of notebooks as a little kid, just because I needed to write down. What I realized before is I used to always write when I was angry. Like if I was sad, if something bad happened, I will always write about that. Now, I mean, I still write about those days, but I try to also make sure I'm writing about the good days and the
I
good.
love it.
Yeah, so that kind of now what I talked about earlier is like now I'm really practicing that gratitude of life. Like,
Yeah.
and sometimes it's good because I look back at my shitty days in my journal and I'm like, well, thank God, like, I'm not in
Yeah.
that space anymore.
Yeah. Do you ever go back and way back and look at some of your
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
something that I say in my book is, invite your past to your current party. And what I mean by that is there
Ooh.
were times when I would pray, like, I just want to have a good day,
Yeah.
for, for you to ask me like, how was your day today? And I'm like, oh, my day was great. Like 2 years ago, I would have never said that. Like, no,
See?
yeah, fine. And I prayed just to say, that's what I say about gratitude. It doesn't have to be something that's monumentous to anybody else, but for me to be able to genuinely say like I'm having a good day is huge for me. Like I said,
Mhm.
me 2 years ago was begging to just genuinely just have a good day. Nothing spectacular. I don't need to win the lottery. Nothing. I went to Target today. I cleaned my house. I had another interview. I had a business call. Nothing spectacular has happened today.
But
But
right.
hey,
But it was spectacular to you.
right,
I get it. And
yeah,
I feel that something like journaling is good because not everybody can afford therapy. Even though there are some, as a caveat, I will add this. With a lot of research, some research, there are agencies out there, and I'm talking to anyone listening now or on the replay. If you're thinking about going to therapy, I was in between jobs. I had
mhm,
lost my job, and I believe that was the catalyst because I was now since I've been in therapy, I realized that I had been anxious and depressed from a little girl,
mhm.
but I started going to therapy through this agency and it was state funded. And I've had therapy for 3 years with no charge at all.
Yep. And
So it's out there.
I'm hoping that more people can have that, available to them and know that things like that are available to them. One thing for me, which is one of my long-term goals, is I want kids to in school for it to be a normal part. And I know a lot of schools
Yeah.
have counselors and things like that, but a lot of times those counselors are. When I was in school, our counselor, it was 300 of us, one person, so she maybe couldn't, like I said, if it was a case that was like blunt in your face, but she wasn't able to talk to 300 kids individually. So
Mm-hmm.
I want it to become just a normal part of our lives. Like,
Yeah.
I went to see Miss Smith today, and it's fine. It's not taboo. It's not something to be made fun of. Like, because
Yeah.
everybody has to go.
Exactly. And I really hope and wish that we could normalize saying going to therapy isn't something so bad because
Yeah.
I'll admit I've said this in the past. Something's wrong with you. You need to go see a therapist, as if going to see a therapist is wrong.
Yeah.
Something's wrong
Yeah,
with
I'm
you.
pretty
That's
sure
the
we've all
stigma.
done that. I'm pretty sure I've said those exact
I
same words
have.
to people as well. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I say a lot of shit out my mouth. So,
Oh,
but no, some people do need to go to therapy, and they need to hear that they need to go to therapy, and not saying that it's a bad thing. But some people are in denial. Some people think
mhm.
it makes you crazy or whatever, and it just it doesn't.
Exactly. And I love that you mentioned the journaling, because for someone who can't go to therapy for whatever reason, they're not able to, I believe that there are tools that we could use on our own, at least
Yeah.
help us. Like you
Yep.
said, the gratitude journal, that costs nothing.
Yeah. I mean,
That's
there's so many things that I do now that I realize are therapy for me.
yeah.
During COVID, I went to school for fashion for a little bit, and I have been someone since a little kid. I can't draw. I don't draw anything. A stick figure looks a fucking mess. Okay, I don't draw. I registered for this art class late because I was putting it off. I was like, I don't fucking want to do this art class. So by
Right.
the time I registered, I was in a class with all animation students. So
Ooh.
these kids were, and I was older, so I had my son, and I went back to school. So I was like 20. I was older than them. I was like 23, 24. So they're 18 years old, and they can draw the whole Disney Channel for you, and I'm in there like. Like I can't do this, and it was so stressful for me. It's so I was like, I forgot where I was going with this story, but I remember I hated it.
Well, because you said the art there, art.
Oh yes. So during COVID, we were trying to find things to do. So I became like this little artist in my mind. I would be on YouTube every night, like watching all these different type of artworks, and I started making art. I sold some artwork, like
Oh wow.
yeah,
Okay.
I'm an artist. I was
I,
like, who would have thought the girl that broke down in her color theory class with these animation students would like sell a painting one day?
that's amazing, Ashley.
Right. So like
Wow.
there, like you said, there are things that if you're so for me, I'm creative. I like to plan parties. I like to like I need to be doing something. For some people it might just be taking a bath. And I hate saying taking a bath because I don't want people to get this. I want people to get the idea of um like a mental health day is like going to the spa, which it can be for some people,
Right.
or like taking a bath. But there's so much more you can do. Like for me, a huge part of therapy for me is spending time with like my closest girlfriends. I notice like
Mm.
if I haven't spent time around them in a while, I will start feeling like down or things like that. And then we'll plan a day, and we don't have to do much. Sometimes they just come over and we watch movies, and like my
Oh, that's
spirit
good.
is instantly like lifted. So there are different ways, there are different types of therapy. You just got to figure out what's for you, but still go see a doctor.
Exactly. So, speaking of your creativity, can you hold your book up?
Yes.
Let's talk about your book, please.
I just been a piece of ice. So
Hey, Jackie.
this is my book. Do that shit. This is the
Get
heart.
it closer. Okay, everyone watching, take a screenshot. Lift it up, Ashley, a little, please. Yes. Take a screenshot of it. Everyone, I put Ashley's link. I'm going to drop it in the chat right now, and it's her Instagram, but as well go to the link tree so you can purchase her book.
Yeah,
She's a
so
Black
my book is called Do That Shit. It is on pre-sale right now. So it's on pre-sale on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, and Books A Million. So I'm like, when it first went on Amazon, I was like, okay, cool, that's great. But when my publisher had hit me back, it was like, oh, you're in Barnes and Nobles now. I was like, wait, I'm like a whole author, like a real author. Like Maya Angelou was like on Barnes and Nobles, so now so am I.
Barnes and Nobles. That's what we doing.
Right. So when you
Yeah.
order, you get the paperback version, which is this one, and then if you order directly from my website, you get the hardback version.
So, okay, let's make it easy for the listeners. Where do you want people to purchase it from? What's going to benefit your business?
I mean, both of them benefit me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
so you
hold it up again.
Okay. You see it.
Yes. So we have a comment, Jackie, who's also a mental health advocate. She
Hey,
says,
Jackie.
I love that title.
Thank you. I felt, I had another title, which is it's much more classy. It's nice. It's whatever. And I said one day if I write another book, no, because I said one day if I write another book, when I become like Dr. Ashley or whatever, maybe I'll use that title for my next book. But I felt like I wanted a title that was like me. It was in your face. It was direct. It was honest, and that you knew like when you got this book, it wasn't about to tell you, it wasn't about to be handholdy. It wasn't about to be telling you about someone with this perfect life and how you just need to wake up early in the morning and your life will be so much better. So that's why I decided on my title. My mom hated the title.
I was gonna ask you, what did your people say?
Yeah, my husband, my husband, my friends, my sister, like they all were like, okay, this title sounds like you.
Right.
So I remember I was like, I was battling between the two titles, and I was like, okay. And then so once I met with my publisher, I remember talking to her, and she was like, well, what's the title? And I was like, I don't want to tell you. And she's like, ma'am, at minimum, I need to know the title of your damn book if you want me
Right.
to be your publisher. So I told her, and I told her, and as soon as it came out my mouth, I was like, but this is the other title I'm thinking about. And she was like, no, you need to stick with the title that you have. So I told my mom, I was like, well, this is the title. It's set in stone. My mom was like, oh my God, Ashley, you just cuss so much. And I was like, yeah, that's the point.
That's me. That's
That's
me,
what,
Mom.
yeah. I have a terrible mouth. I know it, and everybody else does. So I feel like it's on brand. It's who I am. And that's the thing. This book is, I give a lot of my own stories in it, and I wanted people to relate. So I was like, I cannot have this cookie cutter title at all.
Well, you're not cookie cutter
Right.
at all. All right. So we're gonna go a little off path. I'm
Okay.
gonna read some quotes that you have from Do That Shit book.
Yay.
I love this when you say, okay, let me make this screen bigger. You know, I got young, old eyes. Okay. So this is from Ashley Brittney. This is my Amazon book voice.
Thank you.
Healing isn't linear. There will be mountains as well as molehills. There is no shame in feeling down. Just don't live there. Do that shit.
Do that shit. Yeah. Because I feel like, when you wait, I'm hearing a little echo. Is that me? I do feel like when we are constantly replaying our struggles, replaying our trauma, we can't move past it. You know, if you're constantly stuck in it and the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, like there is nothing I can do about what I said 5 seconds ago, what I did 5 seconds ago. There's no, I can't take it back. As I used to literally like sit and talk to God, like, why didn't you give us like a remote control on life? Like I could rewind this and be like, don't do that. Don't go there. But I can't. I cannot rewind time. So all I can do is figure out how to move forward, you know? And if that means that I have to apologize for a mistake or make up for a mistake, then that's what I have to do. But sitting around crying about what happened, it does not help anything. And it further, hurts me. So I decided, and I realized that for years I did that. I stayed in the space. And when other people would come to me and say things like, things will get better, I'm like, how are things going to get better? I wasn't, like I said earlier, I wasn't mentally mature enough to even think about that I was feeding my trauma, that I was feeding my hurt.
Oh, that's some good stuff right there. Damn. That's good.
I'm a little therapist in my head, Dr. Ashley.
Yeah, you need to rebrand that. Do that shit from Dr. Ashley.
Dr. Ash. Like Dr. Dre. Not a real, like Dr. Phil. I could be.
No, that's good. I love what you said about feeding the trauma, because I know from my personal experience, it is uncomfortable as it was in that trauma. It was still comfortable.
Yeah. And that's the thing. A lot of people, we don't even realize that we find comfort in living there because it becomes who we are. It becomes our personality. You know, if I'm not sad, then who am I? If I decide to move past this, then what do I talk about? Then, what's my identity?
Right.
People don't realize that.
So since you've written the book and it's this journaling for you, has it been like a release and therapeutic for you?
It has. So I did my last edit, and I've read through the book I've read through it after I wrote it. And then, I would just read through it. And I would like get to certain parts of it. I'm like, I don't know if I should open up about that. I don't know if I should talk about that. And then I would feel like a little sting and it might take me back, to that situation.
Yeah.
And there are even some parts in the book that I say, like, I am not completely healed by this.
Right.
There are times when like I said, I do get taken back to a certain point in my life or something that's happened. And I've realized that I am still working through that and that is okay. And I may be working through that for the next 5 years or for the next 50 years. But as long as I am constantly working through it, it's a little better than it was yesterday.
Right. That's some growth.
Yeah.
And look, Candy said, feeding your trauma. Yes.
Yeah. We don't realize that we do that. It's like when, what is it when you're sick? They say, feed a cold, starve the flu.
Something like that.
Whatever one. Don't quote me. I told y'all I'm a doctor like Dr. Phil. But whichever one it is, because when you're feeding a certain whatever, it's going to keep growing. So if you starve it, it can't grow. It has to die. It has to fade out.
It does. I'm dropping your link right now. Your link tree. Okay. If you all can see that's listening now, if you can see Ashley's link tree that I just dropped in the chat, type a 1 in the comment section so that I know.
Can I just say, I love Black girls getting their shift together. Like, why the fuck didn't I think of that? I love that.
I'm telling you, I had to get my shit together for real.
Yeah.
Because I was wearing a mask. I didn't even know I had a mask. And then when life was just too much for me to bear, I'm like, fuck, I need to get my shit together.
Yeah.
And when I got my shit together, that's when the shift came.
Yes. I love the name. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you. May I read a couple more quotes from the book before we get off? This is some of the quotes that really resonated with me. You said, wait, not that one. Here it is. Stop breaking your own heart by exaggerating your place in other people's lives. Do that shit.
That is something that I have battled with my entire life. And that's one of those things when I'm saying in 50 years, I'll still be dealing with them. I love people so hard, like the people I love. So I'm like, I would do this for you and I would do this for you. I would do this for you. Like, and then it's like, I would notice that I was living in expectations. Like, I was expecting everybody to love me back the way that I felt like I was loving them.
Wow. That keeps us stuck too, right?
And right. And then I started breaking my own heart. And this is not just in romantic relationships. This is in friendships or in work relationships or whatever. If you feel like I'm such a great friend to Tammy, like, why isn't she that for me? Why isn't she there for me? I'm always there for her. And I feel like I felt that very, very often. And one part of it is maybe they just don't rock with you like that. Okay.
Right.
And then the other part of it is some people love very differently and show their love very differently. We talk about like the 5 love languages a lot, and that is how we receive love. But I also realized in those 5 love languages is how we give love too. So I am like, I want to throw you a party. If you told me one day you like hot tamales, I'm going to find a hot tamale factory and say, hey, oh my God, let's go to the hot tamale factory. That's me. I'll sit and cry with you. My best friend is not a crier. If I call her and I'm crying, she's going to be like, get the fuck off my phone. But she's also going to come over and be like, what do you want to eat? Whatever. Like, she's more like that, that's how she gets her love. So I also had to accept that people are people and we all show our love and our affection and our emotions differently.
Oh, that's some good stuff. Let me read a comment. Hey, Candy. Candy said, and then you resent them for not breaking their own boundaries for you when you break yours for them.
Yep.
That's a word.
I would be so upset with my friends. Like, why aren't you doing this for me? And it's like, no one asked me actually, like, hey, pop up out the bed at 1 o'clock in the morning and come to the hospital when I'm giving birth to my baby. Right? to them, it's not that big of a deal. You know what I mean? It wouldn't have mattered if I came at 1 a.m. or if I would have waited the next day till 1 p.m. You know, but for me, I'm like, well, I got out the bed at 1 o'clock in the morning for them. Why didn't they get out the bed and come see me at 1 o'clock in the morning? Why did they wait till 1 p.m. the next day? You know, and
Right.
that wasn't fair to them. And I had to learn that. And that goes back to that mental maturity I was talking about. It wasn't fair to them. And then I'm angry with them for something that they aren't, that they're not doing it to be mean. This is just them. And that's them having their own boundaries on their own life. And
Right.
that's perfectly okay. Now, that
Candy,
is a difference from the person who is not going to come see you at all when you have the baby. And you need to
exactly.
evaluate that motherfucker.
Candy said, I used to be the same way. I get it 100%. I agree with you and Candy. I was like that in my romantic relationships.
Mm-hmm.
But after my group therapy or during this group therapy, I'm realizing now or learning that it was transactional.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm doing this for you.
This is what you should do for me.
This is what you better do for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the resentment would come in, but it was transactional. I just didn't know that at the time.
And then sometimes, you know, and I know we've all heard this before, but I feel like we hear it, we say we took it in and then we kind of don't. You know, when people say, like, when people show you who they are, accept them. Not meaning that they've done something completely horrible, but if someone shows you, like, you know, I'm not a timely person. Don't sit around and be mad when they fucking late all the time.
Right.
That's who they are. You know, if someone has shown you they're not good with planning something, if they don't plan a birthday, you know, something for you, that's not their strength.
And that's okay.
And we have to be okay with that. That's who they are.
Exactly. Celeste said, yep. That's such a great point for people to understand. You are a low-key therapist. I see you, Ashley. Love your gems.
Thank you. I would now go by Dr. Ash, okay?
Dr. Ash.
Dr. Ash.
May I read one last quote? This was simple and to the point. You said, others are not qualified to validate you. Do that shit.
Yes. And that goes for anybody in your life. Like I told you, when I went to my mother I went to her last on purpose. After I went to my editor, because I know that there is still a part of me that if my mom would have told me she didn't like the title, which I knew she was not going to like it, I was like, I probably would have still been like, okay, maybe I should do the other title.
Yeah.
But it's not her book. I can respect your opinion and that's fine, but it's not your book. It's my book. Ooh. You know what I mean? So I get to title my book how I want to title my book. You can write a book and name it whatever you want to name it because that's your book. You know what I mean? So people don't get to tell you, like, you should do this. You shouldn't do this. You should dress like this. You shouldn't dress like this. You should wear your hair like that. You should lose 5 pounds. You should gain 5 pounds. You should go to school for this. People can have an opinion, but it's not their life.
I love that. It sounds like you have a really good system of friends. Like there seem like it's a safe place where people.
You know, I had to also. That's something else I talk about in the book is cultivating these safe spaces. I'm someone, I've had many friends over my life. I've always been like a popular person. So a lot of times I have friends just because I wanted to be the popular girl. So I hung around the other popular girls and not everybody was necessarily my friend and people who I felt like I could go to and talk to when something was really going on with me. I had a really bad breakdown a couple of years ago and it showed me like who people were. And at that time, like I said, I had saw the signs before. I just decided to ignore them.
Those red flags.
I ignore them. And even in friendships, I ignore them. And then the people who were around me when I was going through the hardest time in my life who weren't judging me, that I did finally feel like I could be safe and talk to them. And then I opened myself up because I closed myself off to like not meeting new people and not really letting new people in. And I've met, some really great people in my life over the past like 5 years that I can now consider like my family, like some of the closest people to me versus, people who I may have known for 15, 20 years.
Right.
So I think just being, my words, see, I'm not as smart as I thought I was. What's the damn word I was looking for?
You got it, Dr. Ash. We rooting for you.
Right. Whatever the word I was looking for, but I don't know. So I guess I just was like intentional now. I'm intentional about the people I have around me. I'm intentional about what I share stuff with. And again, this goes back to, not exaggerating your place or whatever, just because there are some people I don't feel safe sharing with. And
that's okay too.
Right. And that's okay. Yeah. Everybody is not your, even if you know that everybody's not your best friend, everybody doesn't need to know everything. And that's okay.
You know what I learned? I used to apply that to people who I meet, friends, platonic friendships. But over the past 2 years, I was like, damn, that's family too.
It is. It really is. And then it's okay. And then also that's in them same lines with pray. It's like, this is family and whatever. And I've always said blood does not make you family. Blood makes you related.
Exactly. There is a huge difference between family and relatives.
Exactly. I mean, I have relatives I never see. Just because you're my cousin, I'm supposed to trust you over this person who's there for me all the time. Like, no, that makes no sense.
None at all. So this was really good. I knew you were going to come with it. You're so easy to talk to. Everybody in the chat is loving on you. If you heard any gems from Ashley, put a light bulb emoji. That's my thing, light bulb aha moments. So while they do that, I have a 2-minute lightning round.
Okay.
Let's do it.
What kind of lightning round? I don't care. I ain't scared. It don't matter.
Say, I ain't never scared.
Exactly.
No, I'll definitely, in respect, I will do
No, this. I mean, go ahead.
Oh, wait, hold on. What is it? This was a dope conversation, Ashley. Thank you. You're getting a bunch of light bulb emojis.
Wait, it's Celeste, the therapist. Are you really a therapist? How am I doing in my doctor?
She really is a therapist.
Am I worthy of a doctor?
Celeste, she's talking to you. She wants to know if
they need like how like Kim Kardashian is going to be a lawyer. Like you just have to go like study under somebody.
The baby bar.
I need to go find out if they offer that for a therapist for me, because I want to be a doctor. Okay, I just want to go study under somebody. I don't want to go back to school.
I don't either. And when you find out, you have my contact information, send it to me. I'm looking for the shortcuts. Also, Celeste, the therapist, said you are doing amazing.
Thank you.
And then, okay, you really are a doctor. Dr. Ash, you did a great job. And Celeste, the therapist, said, yes, girl, you are so dope. I got to hit you up to come on my podcast. Yes. And she probably will. She has a very good podcast.
Oh, good. So, yes.
You're certified. Dr. Ash, let's do our lightning. What were you about to say?
I said I've been stamped a doctor. So it's certified. Like me and Dr. Dre, Dr. Phil, now Dr. Ash.
Dr. Ashes do that shit.
Exactly.
Okay. Now that you've gone through therapy and your self wellness journey, how did you not jump off the sofa during that second part reunion?
Ooh,
girl.
It was hard. It was very hard. And this is one of the times when other people's opinions did validate me, because I was like, my mom know I'm a fighter. I think she was also very proud. I was like, oh my God, my kids' teachers are going to see me whip this lady ass on TV.
Oh my God.
So that is what it was, because like I said, there used to be a different me. So if this was 5 years ago, I don't know if we wouldn't be having the same conversation. It would be like, why did you jump off that couch?
I'm glad you did it. But if you did, I could kind of see
understandable. Exactly. Because, even like I said, I'm not perfect. I'm still battling with my own self. And there's a part of me that's like, you should have beat her ass.
Yes. I'm like, girl, I'll hold your earrings, put some Vaseline on the face for you. Like, go.
I know. But I'm glad I didn't.
Yeah.
but it it was it was difficult.
You did lovely that night.
Thank
You
you.
did. Okay, next question. What's your superpower?
Oh, my superpower is I am low key. Not only am I a doctor, I am also a psychic. Okay.
Well, Candy said you have discernment. Where is it? It's somewhere on here. She said you have discernment.
Yeah, I am a psychic. I pick up on things very easily. Sometimes I don't even know what it is that I'm like picking up on. And I'll know things. I've been like this since a little girl. I'll know things. This is going to happen, and then something very, very similar happens, and I'm like, I knew it. I don't think I'm not like Miss Gill. Like I can't be like, give me your birthday, and I can read you, but I'm pretty good. We actually have a friend. She calls herself an intuitive healer, and I told her I'm like, well, I can do this too. So one night during COVID, we were on live, and like I was listening to her like do her readings or whatever. I was like, let me do the next one, and I was so like spot on. I was like, see, told you.
See, you're a doctor and an intuitive healer. I
Yeah,
see.
I could do it
What's
all.
your kryptonite?
Oh, what is my kryptonite? I have a lot of, not a lot, but I have bad habits. So it depends on like what aspect of life we're talking about. Like as far as food and stuff, I am a candy junkie.
Okay.
Like I said, people talk about going to the dentist all the time. Dentist loves me because I give them so much money because I cannot stop eating candy. And I'm like, thank God I have teeth left in my mouth because
And,
I should not. As much candy as I eat. What's another kryptonite of mine?
if you don't have any others, that's okay.
Yeah, I think
Look,
that's it.
we'll save it for the next interview.
Yes,
Moving forward,
yeah.
what's the biggest misconception or lie that you've heard since you've been a reality TV star that is just not the truth? They got it all wrong.
The biggest misconception about me is that I'm a mean girl. I hate that a lot of people were saying that, like, oh, she's such a mean girl. I'm not. I'm just honest and I'm direct. And I think that a lot of people got that from the vegan dinner episode when I start questioning about, like, how did someone get married to someone that they didn't know at all? And a part of that in me is like, if you start telling a story, I'm a story person. Like, I want to know. So, okay, then what? Okay, what you was doing, what you was wearing. I want to know. I need to know all the details to put the story together. I don't like vague stories. Okay, I'm a storyteller. I'm like, no, I need to know all these details. So I didn't feel like it was mean, but at the same time, hey, I'm on a television show. People who don't know me, people who do know me, everybody was like, yeah, we want to know the same thing. Like,
yeah, you were asking the questions. I mean, hey, if I was sitting at that table, I would have been hollering. Just
yeah, I mean, it was a lot, and then it was even more that you guys didn't see that still left us with a bunch of questions, and it was like,
can you share some tea that you haven't shared before that you're allowed to?
I mean, I feel like I've shared everything. I know my producers probably watch my interviews and be like, Ashley, shut the fuck up. Like, but no, not really. It's just, it was such a long dinner. We were there for about 4 hours, and you guys got it chopped on TV to about 10 minutes.
Literally.
So it's just like so much was going on and talked about. And I remember zoning out at the table for a while. And I just remember, and that's when you see like Quick and I like laughing because I'm like, I'm so bored. Like I was
You
tired.
did say that.
Monique was talking about COVID, and I was like, I don't want to talk about COVID. Then Winter talking about her second ex-husband, and I'm like, okay, great, good for you. Then she said how old he was, and I was like, whoa, wait a minute, now I'm intrigued. And she said he lived in his mama basement. I was like, whoa, now I'm really intrigued. I got motherfucking questions.
Yeah, that was a lot going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll save that for after. Okay, last two. Who's your favorite reality TV star?
Ever? Oh, I have a few. Okay, I love Nene. I love Sheree. Um, I'm a Kardashian fan. I know a lot of people don't like the Kardashians, but I do. Judge your mother. I Evelyn Lozada from Basketball Wives. I used to really love her.
Uh-huh.
Who else? Teresa Giudice. I don't feel like she's one of my favorites, but I do feel like she is like top tier, like reality royal, like Nene. Who else do I really like? Let me see. I mean, that's it that I can
That's
really
a good list. That's a great list.
Yeah.
And last
I
question.
think all of those people would be labeled mean girls too.
Now, Ashley, yes, you're right. So, last question. Who's your favorite reality star on Love and Marriage DC?
I am my favorite.
I knew you were going to say that.
I am my favorite. When I tell you, I mean, when I would be watching it, you know, because we filmed from January to March, so it came on in May, and then we watched it as you guys watched it up until like our last 3 episodes, I think. So we watched it when it came on TV. So I was, you know, watching it as a fan would, and I'm watching it like, girl, I can like talking to myself like, you did not have to fucking say that.
That's funny as hell.
Yeah, so I'm my favorite reality star.
I knew you were going to say that's why I left that one for last. Ashley, you are amazing. This was really good. Really good. Ashley, you need to promise me another interview when season 2 starts, girl.
I promise you that you will be getting another interview sometime at the beginning of next year.
I can do that. Yes.
At the very beginning of next year. Wink, wink.
Okay. Everyone, that was a wink that I gave her. No, you know I'm going to be hitting you up. So yes, this was good. So last couple comments, Celeste, who certified you.
Yes, Celeste, you have to go watch the show. Yeah, so right now you can watch it on demand on OWN Network or on if you have Discovery Plus. We're on there too.
Oh, okay. This is good. This is good. So yes, and Jackie said yes, she was really good.
Yeah, I had a really good time. Oh God, here go Bruno being a baby.
Show Bruno before we go. Show Bruno in the book.
No, I don't know. You don't want to come up?
Come on, Bruno.
You don't want to come up? You want to show mommy's book? He's funny. My book. Do that shit. There we go.
There we go. Me. I love it. I would love to purchase your book, but I'm going to say right now, I would love to have an autographed copy. I'm just
so all the Brewer, come up. So all if you want an autograph copy, I autograph all of them that are purchased directly from my site, Ashley Brittney Silva. All of them come. All of them come by me. Brewer, say hi. Brewer, kiss, kiss.
Oh,
my little man.
But this is what I would like you to do when I purchase mine. If you can sign it Dr. Ash, I would love that.
Of course. You know, I'm really going to look into this Kim Kardashian thing. Like, if Kim can cheat to be a dago lawyer, then I know it's some shortcut for you, okay? I don't want to perform to anybody. I don't need to give anybody medication. I just want it in my name. Puff Daddy's a doctor.
What?
He has an honorary doctorate degree from Howard.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. So
let me go see if the University of Phoenix has something.
Wait,
I want to go back to school.
What was it that Romeo used to do the commercials for? What was the name of that school? I don't know. He used to do those terrible commercials.
Was it not Phoenix? I
can't remember what it was, but he was like rapping about to get your degree or whatever.
I'll go to Quick Trip.
Shaq is an honorary doctor too. See, if Shaq can be a doctor, so can I.
Oh, hell no. Jermaine Dupri. You know what? I'm going to look that up too, because I've done enough healing work. I deserve it. And
right. I feel like I don't know what theirs is in, but I feel like Puff Diddy's is in. I think he's like got his doctorate in music, whatever. I mean, I get it. He's put in the work. So now
so did we.
I need mine too. Okay.
There we go. Any parting words?
No, I'm just thank you for having me. Make sure you guys are following me on all social media. My name is Ashley Brittney on all social media. I also have a podcast. It's called Fun Time Moms with my best friend. We will be back for our 5th season in October. And just be on the lookout for our maybe season 2 of Love and Marriage DC.
Oh, I love it. Okay, I didn't ask you about the Fun Time Moms, but I'm sorry, I didn't say that right. Let me say it correctly. Fun Time Moms. I'm gonna drop that link. So I've dropped your link several places. So you all have no excuse to follow Ashley everywhere. And Ashley, you are a wonderful guest. I expected nothing less from you.
Thank
And
you.
definitely we will see each other the beginning, wink wink, of next year. Beginning of next year.
We will.
Unless we get our doctorates first.
Yes, and I'm gonna be like, everyone needs to address me as Dr. Ash.
You let them know where it was certified, right here.
Right.
Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. Tonight was fun. I told you all it was going to be fun, and it really was. If anything made your heart or soul resonate, please like, comment, share this video with everyone else. Make sure to tune in next week. I have Sierra Hillsman, who I found from Celeste. She's going to come on, and we're going to talk about emotional spending.
Oh, wow. I need to watch that one too.
Please do. It was something else. I had some aha moments. Other than that, everyone, have a great evening. Thank you, Ashley. Good night, Bruno.
Thank you. Say bye-bye, Bru. You say bye. He's like, who's calling me?
Do his paw like this.
Right. Say bye-bye, Bru. Bye-bye.
This for the queens, sisters manifesting their dreams. Get your cream by any means and beam with self-esteem. Beauty supreme and Buddha walk so mean. The way you fit in them jeans, you eat your cornbread and greens. Dance or a doctor, red wine or vodka. Redesign your spot and redefine your mantra. Retwist your locks and realign your chakras. Doing your squats and getting closer to God, huh? Brunching with your squad or taking a girl's trip. Adjust your crown, you God's gift to the world, sis. Celestial body, drink your water. Meditate, sun-kissed goddess, heavenly order. Levitate, tribe of Ashanti, black girl magic, melanin popping, whether you ratchet or lavish, whether you bougie or savage, you a gift and a treasure. You got to love a black girl getting a shift together. Black girls are getting a shift together. These black girls getting a shift together, man. These black girls are getting a shift together. These black girls getting a shift together, dog.
Wasn't that fun? I had a great time. I know you all did too. Make sure and join the private Facebook page. Okay, gotta go. Bye.